I knew the marriage was over the moment she silenced my call. It was late, nearly midnight, and I was sitting in our living room with a lamp on, my tie loosened, staring at my phone screen as it buzzed in my hand. My wife, Allison, had promised she'd be home hours ago. She'd said the work event wouldn't run too late. But as I watched her name flash on my phone, only to vanish when she let the call go unanswered, my chest tightened with a heaviness I hadn't felt before. That silence was louder than any confession. The beginning of the end. "Allison, where are you?" I muttered to myself, staring at the blank screen. My thumb hovered over redial, but I stopped. What was the point? She wasn't going to answer. The truth was, things hadn't been right for a while. We'd been married 3 years, but the last 12 months felt like living with a stranger. Nights out that used to be girls' nights became networking events. Dinners were replaced with excuses about deadlines. Her perfume lingered on her clothes even though she claimed to have worked late at the office. And tonight was supposed to be different. I had told her plainly that I needed her home. My father had suffered a mild stroke earlier that morning. I'd spent the day at the hospital, watching him hooked to wires and 4 bags, frightened in a way I hadn't been since childhood. I needed my wife's comfort, her support. Instead, she'd chosen the party. The breaking point, when she finally stumbled through the door around 2 a.m. Heels in her hand, laughter still hanging in her throat, I was still awake. "Allison!" My voice came out sharper than I intended. She froze, eyes widening. "You're still up. I called you. Multiple times." Her smile faltered. I didn't hear my phone. I stood, the anger and exhaustion boiling inside me. "My father had a stroke today." Her face paled. "What? Why didn't you?" "I did tell you. Called. Texted. But you were too busy." My throat tightened. "Too busy at a party." She blinked rapidly, guilt flickering for a second before her chin lifted. "I was at an important work event, Daniel. You don't understand the pressure I'm under." "I don't understand." My voice cracked. "My father is in a hospital bed, and my wife couldn't bother to pick up the damn phone because she was too busy." "What?" "Flirting with her boss. Drinking champagne." Her lips pressed together. Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. That was the moment I knew. She had crossed a line. Maybe not physically, not yet, or maybe already, but emotionally she had chosen something else over me. Over us. Packed a bag that night. She didn't try to stop me. 5 years gone. Walking away from Allison was the hardest thing I'd ever done. But it was also the only choice that made sense. The divorce was quiet, almost too quiet. She didn't fight. No dramatic courtroom battles. No desperate pleas to reconcile. She signed the papers, handed over the keys, and within months we were strangers. I poured myself into work, into rebuilding the pieces of my life she had shattered. I moved cities, changed jobs, even grew a beard. Small things to convince myself I was a different man. But the truth. For years I carried her ghost. Every time I saw a woman with chestnut hair or caught the faint scent of her perfume in a crowd, my stomach twisted. I wondered if she regretted it. I wondered if she ever thought of me. And then, 5 years later, I didn't have to wonder anymore. The unexpected reunion. It was a crisp autumn morning when it happened. I was standing in line at a coffee shop downtown, scrolling through emails on my phone, when I heard a voice behind me. "Daniel!" Froze. That voice. That name. My name. Spoken in a way only one person used to say it. Slowly I turned. And there she was. Allison. She looked almost the same, yet not. Her hair was shorter, styled differently, and there were faint lines around her eyes. But her presence hit me like a storm, pulling me backward into memories I thought I'd buried. "Allison." My voice was flat, controlled. She smiled nervously. "Wow. It's been a long time." 5 years, I said. Her eyes flickered with something, regret maybe. "You look good." Gave a curt nod. "You too." The barista called my order, breaking the tension. I grabbed my cup, intending to walk away, but her hand brushed my arm. Wait, could we talk? Just for a few minutes. Every instinct told me to leave. To protect the scars I'd spent years healing. But curiosity, the kind that had haunted me at night, rooted me to the spot. Fine, I said. 5 minutes. Old wounds, fresh pain. We sat across from each other at a corner table, steam rising from our cups. For a moment neither of us spoke. Finally she exhaled. Daniel, I owe you an apology. I raised an eyebrow. 5 years later. Her shoulders slumped. I was stupid. Selfish. I know I hurt you. That night. I should have been there. For you, for your dad, for us. But I wasn't. I stared at her, searching her face. Why, Allison? Why wasn't I enough? Her eyes welled, and for once, I saw the truth in them. It wasn't about you not being enough. It was about me chasing something I thought mattered. Status, connections, approval from people who didn't care about me. I thought if I climbed high enough, I'd feel like I mattered. But all I did was destroy the one thing that actually did matter. Clenched my jaw. Her words were heavy, but they didn't erase the years of emptiness I endured after she left. So what now? You apologize and we call it even. No, she shook her head. I don't expect forgiveness. I wanted you to know I regret it. Every day. The silence stretched again. My chest ached, torn between old love and old wounds. Over the next weeks, I saw her more often. At first, by accident. Our offices were near each other and we'd run into each other at the coffee shop. Then by choice. Text here, a lunch there. Conversations that started stiff and awkward slowly warmed into something almost familiar. One evening, she confessed the full truth. I didn't just choose the party over you that night, Daniel, she said softly. I crossed the line in other ways too. I thought I could balance both worlds, you and everything else. But I couldn't. I was unfaithful. The words slammed into me like a physical blow. I had suspected, but hearing it out loud tore open the scar. I stood abruptly. Why tell me this now? What do you want from me, Allison? She looked up at me, eyes brimming with tears. Nothing. I couldn't keep lying. Not if we were going to. She cut herself off. Going to what? I demanded. Her voice broke. Not if we were going to find some way to be in each other's lives again. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind a storm. She had betrayed me, lied to me, shattered everything we had built. And yet, when I saw her now, I also saw the woman I had once loved more than anything. Could I forgive her? Did I even want to? Days turned into weeks, and we kept circling each other, orbiting like two planets bound by a gravitational pull we couldn't escape. She showed me pieces of herself I hadn't seen before. Humility, vulnerability, a softness that once hid beneath ambition. One evening, as we walked through the park, she stopped. Daniel, I know I don't deserve a second chance. But if you could ever find it in your heart to try again, I would spend the rest of my life proving I won't make the same mistake twice. I stared at her, the woman who had once been my wife, the woman who had broken me, the woman who now stood before me asking for redemption. I wish I could tell you I knew the answer immediately. But I didn't. I wrestled with it, torn between the safety of walking away and the risk of opening my heart again. In the end I chose to let go. Allison, I said softly, I believe you regret it. Believe you've changed. But I can't go back. I can't erase what happened. And I can't love you the way I once did. That man, the one who trusted you with everything, he's gone. Her face crumpled, and for a moment I almost faltered. But then I felt a strange peace. For years I had carried the weight of her betrayal, waiting for answers. Now I had them. We stood in silence, the autumn wind rustling the leaves around us. Finally she nodded. I understand. I walked away just as I had 5 years before. But this time the weight lifted. This time it wasn't running from pain. It was stepping into freedom. 5 years later our paths crossed again. But this time I didn't see her as the woman who broke me. I saw her as a lesson, a chapter in my story that had shaped me into who I had become. And as I held the hand of the woman who now stood beside me, my fiancé, someone who had never once made me feel like second choice, I realized something. Some betrayals are meant to end a story. But some encounters, even painful ones, are meant to remind us that the story isn't over until we choose how it ends. And I had chosen,